So this is my Blender tutorial for absolute beginners. Blender is basically a 3D open software which lets you sculpt, build, and basically anything you want. You can texture, you can animate, a lot of things. To install Blender, you have to go to blender.org, which I am doing right now. And when you reach it on the home page, it'll say download Blender, a Blender whatever version. Mine it's saying 2.90, and you want to click there. And then the version I have right now is Linux, so it'll show download Blender for Linux. Then it'll show all the other versions you can download it on. So after you download a Blender, you want to go home, and it should appear somewhere here. I already have it here, and I've already opened up something. Okay, so when you open up Blender, this screen is gonna come up, and it'll say create a new file. And right now we're gonna create a general file. You can either press this or press around it. Just click around it, and it'll take you to a general file. And the way you move around the Blender space is by using either middle click, like the scroll wheel on your mouse, or pressing left and right click at the same time to orbit around where you first clicked. And if you press shift and middle mouse or left and right click, you can pan your view. If you press control, middle mouse or left and right click, you can zoom in and zoom out. To interact with an object in Blender, you have to click on the object you want to move, scale, or whatever. So after you select the object, you can press G to grab it basically, and you can move it around anywhere around the 3D workspace. And then if you want to make the object bigger, you can press S to scale it to make it a bigger or a smaller object. And to rotate the object, you can press R, which will rotate it. And when you're doing any of these, you can snap it to an axis. So basically, you can do when you're scaling. If I press X, it'll snap it on the X axis. When I'm scaling, if I press Y, it'll snap it on the Y axis. If I'm scaling and then I can scale on the Z axis too. It'll scale it on the Z axis. Blender has a lot of hotkeys. I show you some of the basic ones, but if they're still too hard to remember, you can press Shift and Spacebar. It'll bring you into this menu where you can press this to move it, and if you select the object, you can move it with the arrows, which is pretty cool. And you can do the same thing for rotating, scaling, and to transform it. Yeah. Okay, so I went over using Shift Spacebar to move the object and stuff if you don't remember the hotkeys. But instead of doing Shift Spacebar, you can just go to the left, and you can see this move, rotate, scale, and the transform, which is all three of them, which is it's right here. You don't need to press Shift Spacebar. See, it'll just come up like that. Okay, now let's go into edit mode. To go into edit mode, you have to press Tab, or you go to object mode here, and you can press edit mode right there. And when you're in edit mode, you can select, you can go to vertex select, edge select, or face select. Now, when you're in face select, you can select faces and move them with G. You can also rotate them and scale them. Basically, all you can do when you're in object mode. And but now you can do it on each faces. You can also do a new thing. It's called extruding. Press E, you extrude a face. When you're extruding a face, you're basically making a new set of vertices that come out of what you first selected. And I will go into depth of these later. Thank you for watching my Blender tutorial for absolute beginners. Bye.